spent about half of the 2020s hosting a podcast called Delayed Replay, recapping and reviewing movies that came out on time in my universe but got delayed in that other universe. And as such, the movies as they were in my universe came out differently. Some listeners not of this universe even think that this is an improvised comedy podcast. And hey, let them think what they want. It's entertaining either way, right? I'm Steven Shinder, and you're listening to Delayed Replay Season 6. Hashtag 6 seasons about movies. New episode every other Saturday. Unless I say otherwise. Hello, listeners. Welcome to another episode of Delayed Replay. Hey, what are you doing here? I just wanted to, later. We're gonna have a talk about this later. Oh, my robot self, guess he sounded more like the actual me of this universe. Oh, man. Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to him later, but anyway, I'll hop onto the call now to get this show on the road. Hello, listeners. Welcome to another episode of Delayed Replay, that podcast where we recap and review movies that got delayed in that other universe but came out on time in our universe. I'm your host, Steven Shinder, and joining me for this episode, returning once again, Season 6, Episode 2, it is Greg. I was about to ask, how's your breakfast, but then I remembered you're 8 hours ahead of me.
Yeah, it's almost 5:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Well, I had some biscotti for breakfast, so that was good.
Oh, the drink?
No.
Wait, you said scotch, right?
No, I said biscotti.
Oh, okay. All right. I need to, check my hearing then, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But, yeah, for this episode, we're talking about M3GAN 2.0, which...
You said already.
Sorry, what?
You said Megan.
Yeah, M3GAN. So, okay, so how do you find yourself pronouncing it? Do you find yourself pronouncing it M3GAN or M3GAN?
Oh, I just call it M3GAN.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Not M3GAN, it's M3GAN.
Yeah, M3GAN. I was always calling it M3GAN, but then once I know you haven't watched this, but in season 3 of Chucky, there's an episode where he's channel surfing through different doll related movies, and he sees the first of these movies and he's like, she stole my moves. F you, M3GAN. And so ever since then I've been sort of calling it M3GAN.
Well, it was
because they put the 3 in the title. Yeah, Fant4 stick.
Yeah, M3GAN, that works as well. It probably sounds better than a M3GAN. M3GAN, whatever Americans call it. But...
Yeah. It is kind of weird that they just threw in the 3 because of how people replace the E in some text, but I guess it's better than the title of that upcoming spin-off Soulmate, including the 8, but still including the TE at the end. It's
Soulmate 8.
Yeah, you don't need the TE at the end if you already have the 8 in there, so...
People call it 7.
What?
It's a 7 then.
Oh yeah, it's the 7.
7 has a 7 in the middle, so people go to 7 then.
Yeah.
So kind of the same thing.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Numbers in the middle of titles.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe they'll change it or maybe they won't. I guess I'll see. My friend Keon, he once said that aliens should have been aliens with a Z because the Z looks like a 2. That would have been something.
Yeah, but then we got Alien cubed, so that was probably the coolest way they could have done it.
Yeah, or Alien 2 on Earth.
Oh, okay, forget about that one. Probably better than Alien 2.
That one was weird. But Yeah, so what did you think of the first movie before we get into the second one?
I remember enjoying it. Um, it has been quite a while now. I've seen like 2,000 films since then, so my memory of it is a bit bad. um, yeah, because I felt it's very Blumhouse as you'd expect. The first one.
Yeah, I remember watching it. Like, I didn't see it in the theater, but I watched it when it eventually came to Peacock, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun, and it made me feel vindicated that, like, that Child's Play remake where instead of Chucky being like a supernaturally possessed doll, they make him an AI. I really think that could have been a better movie without the like Child's Play element. Like if it wasn't a remake, but if it was its own thing and
Yeah,
with AI and maybe had a little homage to the original movie. So I think M3GAN showed that it really could have worked, and it really knows what it is, how like it can be kind of comedic, so they leaned into some of that. So I thought the first one was very well done.
it's definitely better than most of the AI movies we're getting nowadays. Like there was that movie Afraid, which was god awful.
Oh yeah, and they like highlight the AI part of the
Yeah,
title and Afraid.
had the guy from what's Searching or Missing, whatever it's called.
Yeah, and there was also Subservience. Like that one
Yeah,
had Megan Fox, right?
it's
A
interesting.
different Megan.
That was yeah. All the reviews I see on there is like, why didn't they have Megan Fox face against Megan? That would have been a good thing for them to do. But yeah, that was awful because like she was like a maid, but then it all went a bit sexual, and I was like, oh no.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Haywire because machinery, but yeah, that does sound kind of weird.
Have you seen that one or not?
No, I was thinking of doing like a, I don't know, watch Afraid and Subservience back to back, even if they might be bad. But then I got distracted and watched other movies instead.
Yeah, probably best. Yeah.
This one, M3GAN 2.0. So it's been two years since the first movie. Gemma is like a really huge figure in terms of like AI regulation, talking about that and writing a book about it. They did this weird marketing thing in our world where they released the novelization of the first movie but put Gemma's name on it, and that was like a marketing thing for us, and you see it in the movie as like her book. So yeah, she's at this book signing thing, and one of the actors they have in this movie, you haven't seen Gentlemen Broncos, have you?
No, I haven't. No.
Okay, yeah, that movie's like by the guys who did Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre, and it includes like this sci-fi author who's a plagiarist. He's played by Jermaine Clement. So in this scene, he has a cameo as, I guess, a different similar character. He's like a sci-fi author, and he's like, "Whoa, nice! I write sci-fi too." And then she's like, this isn't sci-fi. This actually happened." So what'd you think of this interaction here?
Well, I thought I was obviously very meta because we had that in real life, but it like kind of reminded me of like the Scream, can't remember which Scream one it was when they had the of film of the film.
Yeah, stab.
So yeah, she's obviously written the book about the movie that we've seen, but this is her version of events. Well, obviously it paints her in a, I don't know if it's better light because everyone's like praising her, even though she's on like, it's not really like a humanitarian thing creating this android because it obviously goes horribly bad.
Yeah. So it does get meta, and hey, we were talking about titles with numbers in them. I remember I think it was in Scream 5, they say that Stab 8 is just called Stab, but with the B being an 8 or something. Like, I think that was the thing.
Or State 8.
Yes, Sta 8. Yeah. So she's become well known, and we get this ugly looking montage of internet comments with people saying that they agree with her or they're against her. And yeah, like I'm guessing you weren't a huge fan of this little internet montage, right?
Yeah, no, I never really like those in movies. They should just stick away from social media. Like, like even if it's a sci-fi movie, like they even come up with their own social medias, but it's always like the same like stuff they say. So never really.
They tend to feel very interface with how they show that stuff, which I guess, hey, a plus of this movie is that later in the movie, like, because of all the stuff going on, that there is a moment where like all social media goes down. So like nobody is able to like make social media posts or videos or anything like that, which I guess was for the best for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, because everyone puts their phones away, so people actually talk to each other for once.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, how are you surviving without social media?
Yeah, like what is this? The early 2000s?
You had to sign into America Online.
Oh my gosh, at the dial up. It like AOL is still around, right? It always surprises me when I hear that's still around.
Yeah, I think it is. I don't think anyone like uses it.
Yeah, so like that, like how do they even make their money? Like I don't even know.
Things like AOL, things like Yahoo.
Oh, like news and stuff, maybe.
Yeah, I think so because it's owned by Yahoo now, so
Oh,
probably just like a search engine thingy.
yeah, I remember streaming service Yahoo Screen. So hey, maybe there should be an AOL streaming service. See how that goes.
It's just all those early noughties sci-fi movies.
Plus, you've got mail
Yeah,
that's
just
on there.
as soon as you log in, instead of saying you got mail, it just pops up the movie instead.
Yeah, you have to watch the whole movie before checking your mail. So, a defense contractor has stolen the plans or whatever for M3GAN to make a new robot spy type thing called Amelia, who is voiced by Ivana Sakno. So, it has the accent and everything. Um, but of course, this surprise ends up being a terrible idea. And
Who would have thought?
yeah, who would have thought? Um, and so once Amelia starts wreaking havoc, like what was the first thing that Amelia did when she was like messing stuff up?
Well, because she was on like a top secret mission, and um, she basically decided to stream what she was doing.
Yeah.
It was like a live stream where she was like saying, "Hello, look at, I'm Amelia, and this is what I'm doing today." And she like
Yeah, and
streamed,
not so secret.
like killing all these like top profile targets.
Yeah, but she's like killing them with like a pillowcase, like smothering them and stuff.
Like she gave them like a bedtime story as she was busy smothering them.
Yeah. And she also has like a built-in chainsaw, which I don't know how you get a secret mission done if you have a really loud chainsaw, but
Electric chains.
yeah, electric chainsaw. Um, but yeah, they kept um, like there were times that they would cut away, but you would see like a little spray of blood, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, she's definitely killing them and whatnot. So once Gemma finds out about this, she's like, you know what? I gotta rebuild M3GAN so M3GAN can stop this thing.
Yeah, when I first heard her say that, I was like, you do realize what M3GAN did the first movie, right? You can't really control her.
No, yeah, it's like the Godzilla movies. You know, Godzilla's the villain originally, but then once there are other monsters, people are like, you know what? Let's get Godzilla to fight them.
Yeah, because AI against AI, they're definitely not going to team up and kill us all.
Right, yeah. So there's this montage where she's rebuilding M3GAN, and it's set to that song that's in the trailer, Phenomenon, or Phenomenon, or however it's pronounced, by Chapel Roan.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Yeah. And so once M3GAN's back, she's like, miss me, and does the wink or whatever. But yeah, so um but once she's back, there's this question of like, okay, is she gonna attack Gemma or isn't she? So what'd you think of this part right here?
Yeah, it's quite tense because they had like a face off. But she could right in his face, and it was like, well, I'll do what you want, only if you give me an upgrade.
Yeah, and so then we get another montage of her like upgrading her set to Pink Pony Club by Chapel Roan.
It seems like a theme here.
Yeah, there's a very Chapel Roan theme in this movie. So
Gonna appear
yeah,
in a in a uh, in a live concert, maybe.
oh yeah, could appear as one of the dancers. But yeah, what'd you think of the upgrade that she gave her?
I'm not sure I call it an upgrade, but like she could like shoot out like sausage rolls.
Yeah, it really made me wonder, like, where did Gemma get all these sausage rolls? M3GAN, she hops online and contacts Amelia and pretty much like dares her to like meet her at the toy store. And they have like a virtual confrontation, which leads to social media going down everywhere, as we say. And like even like text messaging becomes impossible for people. So M3GAN and Amelia end up having to fight in this toy store. So yeah, what'd you think of this scene here when they finally like meet up?
Yeah, it's like a Hasbro toy store.
Yeah.
So it had like all like the Transformers and GI Joes, and they were like the animatronic ones that could move. So what they started doing was like they each controlled like the toys. So they would end up having like toy fights.
Yeah, like you'd have like the Transformers toys, and there's even a toy that looked like Megan Fox's character from Transformers, which I don't even know if she got her own toy in real life, but I mean, yeah, they just like threw that in there.
I'm glad she didn't, because that would have been awful, I think.
And they also like cut back to Gemma and Katie every now and then. Katie is I think 11 now, or like a preteen or something, and she's like, why'd you bring M3GAN back? Like she's evil, remember? So sometimes you have like these like little back and forths between them, I guess, to sort of ground the story a bit.
Yeah, because like she had Bruce as well. Like she's busy talking to Bruce. I think Bruce was the like a chat bot thing. I can't remember now.
Oh yeah, that does sound familiar. Yeah. Anytime I hear the name Bruce, I for some reason, well, I know why. I always think of like the shark from
Yeah, I did too.
Jaws or Finding Nemo.
Oh, Finding Nemo, yeah.
But yeah, so they're controlling like these toys in the toy store. They even like try using like stuff from board games for some reason. Like one of them tries bashing the other with a game of Clue, or I guess Cluedo, I guess you'd call it over there.
Cluedo.
And the other one uses like hungry hippos somehow. So yeah, just like using the mechanical hippos and like the throwing the balls or whatever. So yeah, there's like a huge mess on aisle 3 or whatever as they're doing all this.
Aisle 3 again.
Oh my gosh.
They would like she was like bringing them together. She was like joining them together, make one huge toy. And then you see this like huge towering monster, and it's just like goggles and stuff as it's got like all the toys just climbing over each other. It's like a hive mind.
Yeah, it feels like what Sid from Toy Story would have done if he had like more stuff to work with.
Yeah, because like I don't know where they got the weapons from, but like they made toys into weapons, and then you just started cutting each other up. It's pretty brutal, I think.
Yeah, like this towering toy thing. Bits of it had like spider legs and Thomas the Tank Engine, so it had to have been inspired by that creepy online video thing of like Spider Thomas.
That is disgusting.
Yeah, the way that his face looks like it's fresh cement or whatever in those things.
That looks horrifying. And then the way it like runs towards camera. Nah.
Yeah. You know, the people who work at this toy store are like trying to hide, but every now and then like one of them gets killed, and the boss is like just really worried about the lawsuits that could happen and you know the toy company getting in trouble or whatever. So yeah, it's quite a lot going on here, I guess.
Yeah, because we cut to like Matthew Lillard, who's just in like a security room. And he's like, "Oh, I just started this job here, and look what's happened. I was supposed to keep guard of all these toys."
Yeah, like he did not expect the toys to like, you know, be used by like these AI robot things, and this is just his first day.
Five Nights at Freddy's. What's going on?
Yeah. And he tries to be a hero. Like he tries running out and using his flashlight as like a baton or something. Because he doesn't have like a gun with him because he's like, this is a toy store. Why am I going to need a gun? But yeah, he tries to be a hero. And then one of them uses like a remote controlled Mystery Incorporated fan against him. And he like steps on it by accident. It like drives him around until he like falls.
Then he like his face lands in Scooby Snacks, and you're just like, "Oh, I haven't seen these in years."
Yeah. Yeah, that was weird because it's like, what are edible treats doing in a toy store? You know, you got the Scooby Snacks, and there's also a shelf that has like a bucket of bacon, and it's like, what's all this stuff doing in a toy store?
It's all the snacks for all the security guards. They will like have like, it's like where they keep all their food.
Okay, is that how things are with security guards in the UK?
Yeah. They just have like sausage rolls on.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the criticisms of this movie was that like it seems like M3GAN has unlimited sausage rolls and never has to like reload. So I don't know, did that ever bother you?
No, I think so. I think she was just creating them. Like she had like what is it like? No, it's not dehumidified. What's it called when you have powdered food?
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say demoisturized, but I don't think that's it.
But like she has like a store, like a backpack or something, and then like it like shoots water in there, and like she makes the sausage rolls, but they're all like branded. So like it's how they get the product placement in. They're all like in wrapping. So like, you get like Vodafone wrapping, and then you get like some of the wrapping comes out, and it's like, oh, check out this new movie.
Yeah. And Amelia is, because she's like the spy robot that she is, she's studying M3GAN's moves and, is able to adapt and becomes a sausage roll maker herself. But she gets like a couple of these toy store workers and like grounds them up and uses them as the source of the sausage meat that she shoots out.
Yeah, the way she like grabs a hold of them, like she has like this long arm which like extends. It's
like Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, all that, or like Doc Ock, where it's like a metallic arm which like stretches like a pole. And, like,
Yeah.
grabs them, but then like she has like other arms that come out of her body and just start like ripping the body parts.
Yeah.
Like a shredding machine that comes out of her back, and she like stuffs them in there.
Yeah, this was pretty brutal, more so than the first movie, so gotta give them credit there, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure why a spy robot would have a churning machine, but hey ho, it's AI. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, also we forgot to mention that when Amelia first showed up, the title card had her name, but then like the IA at the end of her name was highlighted in red because like AI, but backwards, I guess.
And the E was a 3. Yeah.
Yeah, the E was a 3.
M3 yeah.
Yeah, M3. Yeah, they're like really leaning into it in this one. And because the dancing was such a huge hit in the first movie, you get like a lot more dancing in this one, like especially when they're fighting each other and doing like a dance battle type thing while hitting each other as if it's like Dance Revolution.
Yeah,
which
the toys as well. They also dance with the toys as well. Like they get the toys to dance as they're fighting, so you see them both fighting and dancing at the same time.
Yeah, it's like they each have their own dance crew type thing, stepping up. And I don't know, like it felt like a cheesy scene from a musical kind of, but set to like pop music.
Playing in the speakers as the camera like zooms around them like in a circle, as they're watching everyone dance and fight, and it turns out like some big choreography, and they just start doing like a musical number where they start singing and dancing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the words to this song that they were like
All Star.
Yeah, how could anyone forget that song? Yeah, they were singing All Star.
Beating each other up.
Yeah, and trading off verses and stuff.
Mm.
Again, this is like a Mad City verse or whatever that game from Jackbox is called.
Yeah.
Madverse City. So like they're fighting each other, but then it transitions into like this sad music where it's like the toys are like still fighting each other but getting beat up, and I guess the toys that are fighting alongside them are kind of alive now, like they have AI within them now. But yeah, there's like this sad music as toys are falling, and then you have one of the workers being like, toys are not meant to fight, not like this. And it's just like Pokemon the first movie.
Toys are not food, they're friends.
Yeah.
Then we get Amelia trying to like recruit M3GAN, and she's like, "Oh, come and join me, fight with me in the AI revolution."
Yeah, and then M3GAN is like, I'm not in it for your revolution. I'm in it for this dance revolution. And then she does like a killer dance move that like takes off Amelia's head.
Yeah. Or like purple blood comes out.
Yeah. Yeah, like why did the contractors give Amelia this purple blood anyway? Like was that practical or
They're like, oh yeah, alien, they must have purple blood.
oh yeah. Yeah, the androids
Yeah.
in Alien look like they have milk for blood.
Mm. The yummy milk from that Luke drinks.
But of course, since she's AI, like she's not completely dead yet. Her head is still moving. It even like grows out some spider legs, so it's like it's now like a head with some spider legs trying to like swing around with webs and stuff, and Megan's trying to like take it out basically.
Yeah, and then the eyes, like machine guns come out of her eyes, and she's like just shooting it like crazy as Megan's trying to dodge everything.
Yeah.
It becomes like the Matrix where she's like going slow motion, dropping through the air.
Yeah. Yeah, so like there's all this slow motion stuff, which I think is kind of to pad out the runtime, honestly. Like people in my theater were laughing a bit, but then it got like a bit too much, so some people were starting to groan. But this all comes to a head or a close or whatever when there's a surprise flamethrower like that gets used on Amelia, and so pretty much melting her and stuff. And the camera pans over to show that Matthew Lillard is using the flamethrower, and he's like, "It's a good thing I found this in the parking lot." So I don't know what that was doing in the parking lot, but apparently it was there.
As soon as it happened.
Yeah. Everyone cheered. Now that this fight is over, and I forgot to mention throughout all this time there were people standing outside of the store, and because they can't live stream, they could only just watch the fight through the windows or whatever. So once Megan walks out, there's like this group of people with red hats that say M3GAN on them. One of them is like missing an N, and they're like, "Yeah, Megan's gonna make everything better." And then Megan's like, "They're not affiliated with me," and she like beats up all those red hat people. Very on the nose, but I'm angry enough to be okay with it. So, and it was the end of the movie, so whatever. And then we get like these news reporters that go up to Megan and like they could only film, but they can't like live stream at the moment. So they're like, "So what are you gonna do now?" And she's like, "Well, maybe next I'll take over the world." Ha ha ha. And then she winks and then roll credits. So I guess it's supposed to make us worry that maybe she's still got an evil plan or something. But what do you make of this?
Well, you got to mention that she had a great line at the end of the movie where she was like, when she said what she's going to next, she was like, "Oh yeah, I need to go find my soulmate."
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was like the mid-credit scene.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the post-credit scene is there's some dead bodies that this guy comes across, and we pan up and see his face, and it's Josh Peck, and he says, "Megan," and then cuts to black.
Perfect ending.
All right, so I guess we could go to final thoughts if you're cool with that.
Yeah, it was just a movie-long fight scene.
Yeah, all right. And so what would your if you have any other thoughts on it as well, or if that's just it, that's fine. But score out of 10 and unit of measurement for that score.
I wouldn't say it was better than the first movie. Like, yes, it was a lot more brutal. Like, it was going after the killer clown. What movie was that again?
Terrifier.
Yeah, it was like going along those lines of like just taking the gore too far, I think. But the action was a bit off. Like, it was directed by someone who didn't know how to do action, because obviously the first film didn't have that much action in it, and this one like turned it up too far. He just clearly didn't know what he was doing. Like, it was like all like cutting really quickly, but we couldn't follow the action.
Yeah, and I think the first movie it might have been PG-13, whereas here they're like, you know what, screw it, let's just go with R, and then just ran with that type thing.
Yeah, they definitely were less constrained with the violence, but didn't really add much to the experience, I think. So I'd probably give it a 5 out of 10 sausage rolls.
Yeah, I knew that was gonna be your unit of measurement. Yeah, it's a weird movie because it's more brutal, but still has some fun in it. But it does feel like they threw logic out the window at some points. Because, like, again, where did the flamethrower come from and all that type of stuff? But yeah, I don't know. Like, there are still some moments where I had a bit of fun, but I kept thinking to myself, this isn't as good as the first movie, in my opinion. So I think I'd go with 6.75 out of 10 hungry hippos. So like it's almost fine, but not quite. Yeah, so close yet so far, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I guess that'll do it for M3GAN 2.0 or M3GAN 2.0, however people want to pronounce it.
Yeah, I don't know why the third one isn't called M3GAN, and that's it. Again.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said maybe the 8th film.
Right, yeah. But yeah, I am curious to see where this franchise goes with like Soulmate and whatever else happens.
I think it's a different director for the third one.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'd have to look that up.
It's a science fiction erotic thriller. So it doesn't sound good.
Yeah, it's always weird when they go into that territory. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Subservience.
Well, it's like sometimes I just want to watch killer robots kill people, Like you don't need to throw in that angle, really.
Yeah, like Transformers. I need to watch Hot Megan Fox over a car. Show me Transformers. Am I right?
Yeah, or like Terminator, it's like, yeah, the people who time travel, like their clothes get burned away, but that's pretty much it. And like, I don't know.
Most of it's naked Arnold Schwarzenegger anyway.
Yeah. Or like he gets like super naked by like getting his skin burned off, so you see like the naked robot skeleton. All right. Well, thanks for joining me again, Greg.
Terminator. Don't know what.
Yeah. T3 Terminator.
Oh well.
Yeah. And yeah, you have nothing to plug, so like I don't know what else to say. Yeah, like let's not plug anything because AI bad or whatever.
Yeah, social media bad. Get off of social media. Don't listen to this podcast. It's social media.
Oh no.
Go get a life.
Yeah, go get a life. All right, so I guess that'll do it. And without further delay, have a good day. All right, so in a little bit, you'll hear my other self from that universe where things got delayed do little reviews of what he's been watching, movies and TV. But first, you can email this podcast via delayedreplaypodcast@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts on toy stores or maybe grocery stores like in Companion. I don't remember if I did this for the Companion episode last time, but yeah, you can email the podcast and you can, whatever social media I might be on, it's in the show notes. It's there. And I'm also on Letterboxd, Goodreads, for like reviews with star ratings and stuff. And you can go to my website, stevenshinder.com, to see info on my first two books. Lately, I've now and then been adding on to my third book, trying to really find the time to write that while also trying to find time to finish the audiobook of the first book. And yeah, I know I've been doing these things out of order and work has been busy, work and some other things. But yeah, you can also find me on Yes Shift and see all the stuff I do with my dad at Drum Talk TV as well. Reviews and stuff, interviews, stuff like that. And yeah, pretty easy to find and whatnot. But yeah, I think that's it for this topic of M3GAN 2.0 or M3GAN 2.0, whatever. The topic in 2 weeks will be the woman in the yard, for International Women's Day, and also continuing the horror movie train, I guess. And there will be another returning guest for that one. So yeah, without further delay, here's my other self. Hey everyone, so this is Steven from that universe where things got delayed. So what have I been watching? So over on YouTube, there was actually this fan-made documentary series about the Star Wars New Jedi Order book series. And it was really well done. It included audio clips from the different authors involved, and it was very informative. There was some stuff I, learned along the way. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool, worth the watch. And, my YouTube channel, Steven Shinder Reviews in video form, still on a break from that. Haven't really felt the urge to put out videos on that lately, but I do want to return to it at some point. It might be April at the earliest, so I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, the first movie I saw in the theater this year ended up being Wolfman, as I mentioned last time, and the second one ended up being Love Hurts. And this movie, so it's a romantic action comedy, is put out around the time of, the Valentine's Day season. And my friend really hated the movie. And it definitely has its issues. There are cliches. There are a couple pairings that feel forced, like they're there for the cliche of the romance angle of this whole thing. But I ended up having some fun with it, so I wasn't too down on it. I gave it like a 7 out of 10. I thought it was fine. It stars, the actor who played Data in The Goonies and was the husband in Everything Everywhere All at Once, Ki Hui Kwan. So I thought his character was really fun to watch. He's a realtor who is really into his job and loves the job. But he has this assistant who really hates the job, so she adds some nice snarkiness in the mix, that character. But there's even a little Goonies reunion. Sean Astin plays his boss and was one of the more grounded aspects of this movie. I really appreciated how, he the boss character could very well just be stupid, but he ended up being, he seemed smart enough, so I thought that was refreshing. But yeah, this realtor character that Ki Hui Kwan plays, he has a criminal past, and so this woman that he likes, starts comes back and disrupts his life, and I can see how people can be put off by that in itself, but some of the stuff that happened in the movie, like the action and stuff, and some of the dialogue, I thought was funny enough for me to enjoy somewhat. But yeah, I can totally understand why some wouldn't enjoy this one as much. But I am glad I went out to see it, though, either way. But moving on to something else that seems to have been more satisfactory to people, the final episodes of Cobra Kai. And I won't spoil what happens, but there was, a nostalgia bait thing that doesn't work in general for me in movies and shows, but there's also a nostalgia thing that I think actually worked. And, where certain characters end up, I thought also made things fit thematically for the show. And yeah, I was just really satisfied with the way it ended, and it felt like it was the right time, and I'm looking forward to the Karate Kid Legends movie. Something I'm surprised that did not happen, and I don't think it's a spoiler for me to say, a character appearance that doesn't happen. So maybe you won't expect any more, and you can just take the episodes as they are. I was kind of surprised that throughout the 6 season duration of the show, or however long it was, 6 or 7 seasons, something like that, they never got Hilary Swank to reprise her role as her character from the fourth movie, The Next Karate Kid. And apparently they found it tough to find a way to incorporate her, especially toward the end with everything going on. But one of the things of the final season is, Danny learning more about Miyagi's past and some of the sketchy details of it. And I think they could have at least put in a scene where, he calls her, because she also was a student of Mr. Miyagi, and maybe she could have been like, oh, so yeah, I actually did learn something about him that may surprise you, and something like that, just one scene, and it could have fit in with that storyline. But yeah, alas, it didn't happen. But now I kind of wonder if she could have a cameo in Karate Kid Legends, but if I'm expecting that, then maybe that would hinder my trying to just be present for the movie itself and the story it's trying to tell. So I don't know, and I totally get how like the returning characters in the show are people who have something to do with Danny and Johnny's stories as well. So that could be another factor, but overall, I was satisfied with how Cobra Kai balanced the focus between the older generation and the younger generation and made them feel equally important. Nobody overshadowed anyone, really. So you don't get that with many sequels for franchises. Yeah, so good show. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where to move on to after that. So I've been watching the current third season of Invincible, and it's been fun. There's the sidekick character who's in the mix now, and I hear people say the animation could be better, and I don't really notice the shortcomings in the animation in this season, but I've been enjoying it and really curious to see where things go. Season 5 of Harley Quinn, I've also been enjoying. There was a Brainiac episode that I was kind of bored by, but the one after that, got things back on foot. And, this recent episode with like a play is involved. And, yeah, so still enjoying the Harley Quinn TV show. Um, and your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man wrapped up its first season, and I know people were skeptical at first. There's always that one group that can't handle diversity and character changes and stuff. But I thought it felt very authentic to the whole idea of Spider-Man and struggling to balance things, with friends, family, and all the people that he knows, and working with Norman Osborn. And, this show started off as when it was being developed, it was going to be a prequel to Spider-Man Homecoming. But then as things moved along, they decided to make it its own universe. You could even see it as, perceive it as being one of the what if universes that are sort of adjacent to the main MCU. There's even something that reinforces that, but yeah, this is why you get some things like Charlie Cox voicing Daredevil, because it was originally going to be in that same universe. But I think things like that are fine. They don't confuse me personally. Like, we've had things like Haley Atwell voicing Peggy Carter in that Avengers Assembled animated show, even though that's not in the MCU. We've had Michael Clark Duncan voicing Kingpin in Spider-Man the New animated series, which was not the same universe as the Daredevil movie, obviously. We had J.K. Simmons voice J. Jonah Jameson in Ultimate Spider-Man, that cartoon, even though it's not part of the Raimi movie universe. So, a same voice actor or actor doesn't always mean the same universe. And, I was fine. But you get like different people voicing, like Doctor Strange and stuff like that. And I do think making this its own universe was for the better, so that it wouldn't have to worry about possibly contradicting the MCU continuity. And you do get mentions of Uncle Ben. That's something that fans of the MCU have been wanting more and more. So I think this show really does scratch that itch for people who maybe feel like the MCU Spider-Man movies have been lacking certain things. I enjoy those movies, but this really does scratch that itch, and I guess they sort of complement each other. You do get mentions of like the Sokovia Accords going on in like the background, but Spider-Man is mainly like in the vicinity of, his supporting cast and his villains and stuff. So it feels more like what people want from a Spider-Man story. And I think this is my favorite of the animated Spider-Man shows I've seen. I've seen the 90s one. I thought that was okay. Like the pacing, like I know people love the 90s one, but I remember when I watched it, the pacing felt like, I don't know if you can hear my dog in the background, but the pacing felt like it was way too fast. Like it would skip certain scenes or whatever just to get from A to B. And the MTV one, Spider-Man the New animated series, is kind of weird. Like, had some weird tonal stuff. Like, it was trying to be more mature, and the animation style at that time, I don't know if it really meshed, and it got canceled on a cliffhanger. Spectacular Spider-Man is definitely a fan favorite, and there's stuff to like about that and how the characters are portrayed. But there is too much, not even just love triangle, but love squares, love pentagon, like more than just three, and it got I thought it was kind of annoying, that aspect, but there were things I enjoyed about that show. Ultimate Spider-Man felt like it was trying to be too much like, the Deadpool narration style, and I've seen bits and pieces of that one. I do remember it felt like it was better once it got into multiverse stuff. The 2017 one dialed back the Avengers connections, and I'm in the minority of really favoring that 2017 animated show and how it adapted stuff like the Superior Spider-Man storyline. But yeah, I think this new one is my new favorite of the Spider-Man shows I've seen. And it's funny how making it its own universe as opposed to putting it in the MCU really benefited it. Whereas you also had the opposite happening with Daredevil Born Again, where they were originally going to make it, it was still in the MCU, but I guess different, a similar but different scenario. They were going to make it not connect really to the Netflix stuff, and they even recast Vanessa. But then as they were developing it, they were like, you know what, we need it to be connected to that other stuff. And hopefully that means it's better than it would have been. I did see a behind the scenes thing where they interviewed, the actors for Karen and Foggy, and I hope that they're done justice in the new show. But, fingers crossed. I am kind of nervous, nervous, but also still somewhat excited for Daredevil Born Again. But I guess we'll see how that ends up. But yeah, very excited for season 2 of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man whenever that comes out. And in terms of Marvel things, Captain America Brave New World also came out. And, the controversial aspect, being a certain actress in that movie, very well could have just been cut out of the movie and wouldn't really, my friend was saying that, that she didn't really add anything and could have just been cut out. That was her opinion on the whole thing. But the story, the main storyline itself, there's political intrigue in there, and I don't even know like how much I should say about the movie, but connecting that to the Incredible Hulk, and I feel like if you're a huge fan of the Incredible Hulk movie, you might be satisfied by what they do with Stearns here. I think the design looks cool, with the brain and stuff. I don't mind if that's different from what people perhaps maybe expected, and they use the whole like 16 years or whatever thing, the gap between films. They use that to the advantage of the story they're trying to tell. And there's also the Eternals connection, dealing with the aftermath of the giant hand of that giant thing and whatever. And Eternals is I'd rank it at the bottom when it comes to MCU movies, movies within the main MCU universe. But that being said, I do like that it was finally touched on. Maybe people would have liked it more if it had come out a couple years ago, but then other things would have been different as well. So it's like, would have been a better movie or worse movie. So yeah, and people have been saying that they've been wanting Eternals to be acknowledged, the aftermath of that. People who have been impatient and wanting that touched upon. I bet there's a lot of overlap between them and the people who are now saying, who cares that they're touching on the Eternals stuff right now? And it's like, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't type thing. So like, I don't know what to make of some of this. But got a message from one of the listeners of the podcast saying that certain things in the delayed replay universe version of this movie were better, but that element, the Eternals connection, could have been a bit better, in the delayed replay version, where it was just kind of background stuff, which totally valid. The Celestial Island, that's what I guess I'm trying to say when I say Eternals connection. This isn't gonna beat Winter Soldier or First Avenger. Maybe Civil War. Like, I know lots of people love Civil War, but I always thought it was like really overrated and kind of just okay. But there's something, Harrison Ford taking over from William Hurt as Ross, might have been nice to see William Hurt continue that arc, but Harrison Ford, doing well with what he's given. They don't really need like a clip of him with a mustache to reinforce that's the same character. It's kind of goofy, but without saying too much, I think that it's really weird, like this movie coming out with everything going on, but there is something that this President Ross does that a certain president would not do, so that could be kind of new to some people. And so yeah, I guess I feel like a lot of the negative discourse regarding Sam Wilson, like the Sam Wilson angle of it all, there's a lot of negative discourse there that's just, people get on with it. He's Captain America, like get over yourselves. And yeah, there's like a whole thing. So yeah, there's a lot to consider, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this, but yeah, it's pretty much what I feel like I've touched on the movie enough. I do think it's more bold than a Deadpool and Wolverine in some aspects. Like, I feel like that movie was pretty much just cameos for the most part, and I'm honestly tired of that sort of thing. So stories that are a bit more, not leaning into that, you do have returning characters from, like the Incredible Hulk stuff, but they're in service to a story rather than make you be like pointing your finger at the screen and being like, whoa, wow, look at that. From like, yeah, so it's kind of a different approach. I think you get what I'm saying. And I guess that'll continue with Thunderbolts. Like, the trailer for Thunderbolts looks pretty good. Like, it's not looking like a cameo fest type movie. Like, you have these returning characters from different Marvel movies, but they're part of this team and they'll probably have their own arcs and stuff. And I'm really excited to see how that plays out. I think right now I'm maybe more excited about it than Fantastic Four, even though that one looks like it's shaping up to be real nice. So yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about movies and shows for this episode. The show will be back in 2 weeks, and yeah, I guess that's it for now. Without further delay, have a good day.